All right then, so let's set up our environment first. So let's open up our browser. So let me bring my browser to this screen. Okay, so here we go. Now over here we are going to use this Visual Studio Code. You have to search for Visual Studio Code. Search for 1 second. I don't know why it's not typing. Visual Studio Code. Yes, it is. All right, so here click this one, and whatever the platform that you're using, it doesn't matter. So always you have to download the stable release, either it is a Mac or it is a Windows. Please go for the stable release. So click this download option and start downloading it in your PC. In this case I'm using the Mac and I already downloaded the Visual Studio Code, everything. So please go ahead and download the Visual Studio Code. Then we also have to download this Git. Search for Git download. Git download. All right, so then you have to click the very first link, click that, and there you can find the download option where you can choose what kind of platform that you're using. So please go ahead and download this Git and install it. So once you so you don't have to change any settings in it. All you have to do is to click next, nothing at all, right? So once you have successfully downloaded and installed these both softwares, then we have to configure your Git, right? So in your start menu, or if you search for Git bash, right? So if you search for Git bash, so you can find your Git bash command control over there. All right, so all you have to do is to type some configuration settings, right? So we need to do some configuration settings in that before moving into further using the Git options and everything. And before using it, you need to have a GitHub account. So go to github.com, and please create yourself, sign up and create an account for yourself. Use the student option and create an account for yourself, right? So once you successfully install the Git and everything, you need to configure your Git username and your email address in your local machine to connect your GitHub with our source code to push and pull the codes and everything. So to do later anyways, I will show you how to push and how to pull the code and how to reconfigure everything. But anyways, this is the first step that you need to do. So you have to configure Git username config, Git username and email config. If you search for Git username and email config, these are the two different commands that we need to type in our Git bash control. Git config global username, type your account username, and git config global user.email, type your email address. So these things has to be done in your Git bash. All right, so for Mac, so we don't have to worry about it, or for Linux, you can directly type it in your terminal itself. So we don't have to, once the Git is successfully installed, you can directly access this command in your terminal itself, right? So once these things are done, now let's open up our Visual Studio Code. So in this case, let me bring one more desktop over here. All right, so let me bring my Finder window. So let's say new Finder window, and let me bring it to this screen. All right, so here you have to create yourself a project folder, so because that's the place where we are going to maintain all our projects inside a single place. So here I do have the projects folder. Let me open it. All right, so let me change the views to the columns. Oops, sorry. All right, so here this is the, and here I'm gonna say, let's say web dev course or something like that. So I'm going to create a new project folder, and I'm going to open this project folder in our, so we have to open this project folder in our Visual Studio Code, which we successfully installed, right? So there are two different ways to open it. Either you can directly right click it, or you can simply say open with Visual Studio Code, or else you can open your terminal or command prompt. So we need to navigate to this desired location, right? So let me update my terminal. So it's updating. Let's make a quick update. All right then, so now it's successfully updated. So you have to use the commands, the doc commands, right? So for instance, let's say, let me open wait a second. All right, so here for changing the directory, so to open up your command prompt or anything, all you have to do is to type. If you type in Windows, if you type window plus you press your window key and R, then that will open up the run window. Right, inside the run window, all you have to do is to type cmd to open your command prompt. If you're using Mac or Linux, all you have to do is to type command, your command key plus space, and type terminal to open up your terminal. So you have to, or to, if you open the terminal, all you have to say, you have to type the terminal, so that will brings up the terminal, something like this. See, something like this. If you press command space and type the terminal, so if you, let's say that you're keeping it in the desktop or something, right? So first I need to move on to a specific drive location. If you're in a C drive or D drive, if you want to navigate from one drive to another drive, all you have to do is to type your drive name, then specify with colon. For instance, if you're using C drive, now you need to switch over to D drive, you need to type D colon. So that will takes you to the D drive. So once you switch into the specific folder or a drive, so we have to move into a specific directory. For instance, I need to change from one directory to another. In that case, I need to use the command called cd, which is called change directory. Right, this is the change directory. Spelling, okay. So now if I want to switch to desktop folders, all I have to do is to cd desktop. So that will takes me to inside the desktop folder. So if I wish to come outside of the desktop folder, all I have to do is to cd space double dot. So that will takes me to the previous folder where I am, right? So these are the commands that really helps us to navigate. Or very simple options to open up your Visual Studio Code is simply open the Visual Studio Code, VS Code, open the VS Code. Yeah, open the Visual Studio Code directly, and all you have to do is to go to your file, open folder, and choose the folder which we have created. That's it, simple as that. All right, this is the one of the easiest way to open it. So these are the different ways to access your Visual Studio Code, right? This is one of the way. Or else if you wish to open this by using the terminal, all I have to do is to for instance, if I want to open this particular folder using terminal, I need to right click it and I need to open the new terminal on this specific folder. Then I need to open this folder in the Visual Studio Code just by typing code space dot, which means I'm going to access the Visual Studio Code for this specific location. So that will opens the Visual Studio Code on this specific location, right? These are the different ways to access your Visual Studio Code. Now, once you accessed it, so we need to set up our environment properly. So when it comes to web development, so you have to make sure so that you're opening, click the manage and go to the themes settings, the color theme, because we're going to sit and work for a very long time. So the color theme is really important, right? So if you are working with the different color theme, for instance, if you're using very light theme during the night time, it's really hard. So click the color theme and choose your color theme wisely and make yourself comfortable while you're studying or you're coding. So that's really helpful. And choose the file icon theme, because we need to understand our file icons, because when you're working with a very big projects, identifying a few files, it's really tricky. So the file icon theme really helps you to understand what file right now you're using. Right, so go ahead and install the file icon theme as you wish. I'm using material icon theme, right? So once you're done with that, then click here in this extension. So we need a server, because a website will never run without the help of the server. So we need a live server. So search for live server. So that will gives you this very first extension, which helps us to run a local server to check our HTML pages and everything. So please go ahead and install that live server too. So once you successfully installed, then you need to install this prettier. So the prettier will helps you to format your coding styles, because we never used to write a coding in a proper way. we write it here and there. Even though if you're writing it in here and there, it's need to be aligned properly. Then only when you're compiling your code, it will execute properly in the browser. It's really easy for the browsers to understand the code much easier, in an easier way, right? So please go ahead and install this prettier code formatter. Once you're done with this prettier code formatter, every time I don't need to manually format this code. Whenever I'm saving this code, it's need to be format itself. So to do that, all you have to do is to click the settings option and go to the settings and search for format on save. So this option will really help you to save and format your code every single time whenever you are saving it. All right, so please enable this option. So once you're successfully done with all these things, we are successfully configured our environment setup. So don't worry about your git control and all those things, this git control and all those things, because we'll worry about this later. Because by the time when we are planning to push our code in the server or in the GitHub, we will worry about that part later. All right. So far we successfully set up our environment. So next, let's move on to our introduction part. All right.